Howdy there. I'm back again to share something that people have been requesting from me on YouTube through my email and stuff about ways to work with Denise with AutoHotkey. So I decided that I would create a function library for Denise. So I created all these functions in AutoHotkey here. And there are 15 functions altogether. And this makes working with Denise so easy that you can just, a matter of 1 or 2 lines, make her do something. So these are the actual functions, and all you have to do is like copy the function. I'll give you an example of how it works. This is Denise functions, and it has to be in the same folder as whatever your working script is. That would be your working directory. Let's say if I create a new AutoHotkey script here, and we're going to open it up and edit it. Now let's say if I want this to be something I want Denise to do. The only thing we have to do is include denisefunctions.ahk. Alright, and that right there will include all the functions in this script into your new script that you're writing. So anything you want Denise to do, it'll go back and look at this script at how to do it. Now the first thing you always want to do with Denise is get the key. You got to get Denise's key in order to do anything, because the key is required in all her API calls. So just like anywhere else, you get key, and that's all you have to do. Let's say if I want Denise to say something, the function for that would be over here. It's be Denise speak. I just have that in speak. I'm going to just copy that. You don't have to remember what they all are because they're all printed right here, and all you have to do is copy and paste. Don't get the semicolon though. So if I go back here and I say Denise speak, the parameter for the function is bar2. So all we have to do is tell it what bar2 is. Let's say bar2 equals hello there. And then after that, let's say, let's say after that, we just say exit app. And that's all it takes to make Denise speak hello there. I'll show you an example of it. Ready?
Hello there.
Alright. Now there's a whole lot of other things to do with these functions. If you look at these, we can change characters, we can change voices, we can change positions. I even have one here that's agent resize as the width and height. That'll make her look tall and skinny or short and fat, but I recommend you find out where the default size is before you change it so you can change her back. Let's say I want to change the character. Alright, I'm going to just copy that one, close that, and right here, let's say instead of hello there, after we got the key, let's say I want to change the character. Right there. Now you have to go and look at what characters you have to work with.
Opening configuration module.
And the characters have to be typed exactly as they are here. If there's an underscore, it has to be in there, and that kind of stuff. I have these few here. And for audio, my voices, I only have these 3 here to work with for right now. But I'll use all 3 of these in my demonstration here. That says stand up, I know, but it isn't. It's this one. So anyway, back to here. Now the function was set character, and the parameter it requires is character. So all you have to do is define character. equals, and decide who you want to do. We're going to do cookie. And then we'll have her say that. Now, anytime you change a character, it's always good to add a little bit of timing in there to let Denise catch up to the script. Because the script, this will try to send this and this simultaneously, even though I've added timing into the function, it still is pretty fast. So sleep, I find that 1500 works pretty good, and this kind of gets this to settle before this one starts to go. I've just noticed that timing is required sometimes because the script is too fast. Now I'll save that. I'm going to make her just a little bigger here. Now when I double click it,
Hello there.
it seems more natural that they show up first before they start speaking. Now, let's say, I don't know, after she says hello there, I'm going to make her move to some place. And the way you figure out where you want her to move to, say I want her to move right there. And I'm going to go in here and look for the function for moving, and that's going to be set position X and Y. So I'll just copy those, close that, and after she says hello there, I'm going to put right here set position X and Y. Now we need to find out what X and Y is if I want her to show up right here. And if you have Auto Hotkey installed, which you have to have for this, then you have this little program here called Active Windows Info, but I call it Windows Spy. When I click on her, that's going to give me the dimensions, actually the X and Y position of where she's at, 1302 and 483. So we're going to define X and Y as X is going to equal 1302. And we're going to say Y equals, and what was that? 483 is right there. So we'll say 483. And then she's going to move there, and then the X is going to act. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put her back here where she was. I'm going to say save. Click it.
Hello there.
Okay, so she instantly moved to this place right here. Now, let's say if I want her to go here, and then I want to change her character again once she gets there to something else. I'll just take this character and copy that. We'll put the paste right here, and we'll change this character to, I don't know, Denise underscore 2010, and then she's going to turn into that. So let's see. We'll move her back. Do this.
Hello there.
Alright, so now she's Denise 2010. Put her back here. Actually, what I want to do is change a couple other things. Let's get rid of all this. Leave that there for a minute. Leave that there for a minute. Let's get rid of all this. And we'll change this back here to Denise. Because I want to get her back to this function here. I'll hit save. Alright, now I'm just going to go ahead and delete this. Now I put together another one here. There's one other function here I needed to touch on, and that's response. This response right here goes right into her chat input. There's a little bit of explanation for what all of the functions are and how to use some of them right here. I'm going to show an example here. Say, okay, if I was using an input box like this, that particular one right there is all it is I have include Denise functions, and I get the key, and then I create this GUI right here with an edit box, and then I make a loop right here, and in this loop, if I uncomment this, it'll wait for me to press enter before the letters go. But if I comment this, it ignores that, then it's going to look for letters, and as soon as Dragon puts them there, then it's going to go to her response bar 2. Bar 2 becomes what's collected in the edit box, and that's how you can talk to her. This little thing down here is just so that you can move this around like this, and that's all that's about. But before that, I have this one here. Here's an example. I noticed that when I go to a different voice, like Zira, it's a considerably lower volume than Samantha's voice, and so is the David desktop. So I had to manipulate the volume as well, and that is one of the functions here, agent volume. And all you got to do is set the value for V and say agent volume, and it goes to that. It's a pretty cool little way to work with Denise, I think. So at the beginning, I needed a benchmark, so I set the volume at 50, and then when I move up to compensate for a lower volume, I went to volume 80 for David and Zira and everywhere, and then went back to 50 right here when I went back to Samantha, and that kept all the voices like at an even keel. But I found that I had to actually set the volume at the beginning so I knew where I was adjusting from in order to set the volume higher later. It was kind of a conundrum. Anyway, so I have include Denise functions right here, and I just put bar 2, I just put some text in some of these things, and I added some expressions, and then I use finish speak. That's one of the functions here as well. Finish speak. This will, sometimes you use it after variable 2. It will pause your script until Denise stops speaking. So that's important sometimes when you need the sentence to be done with before changing to another character. So finish speak is very important. Sometimes you need to hear everything that's going to be said before the next thing happens. An example would be maybe if you're reading a page and before you turn the page, you want to read the whole thing. Or before you're changing characters, you want to complete what you're saying as the previous character. That's when finish speak would be used. So here's a quickie example. This is really not practical for anything, but I'm just showing how the functions actually do work.
Life is all about perspective. The sinking of the Titanic was a miracle to the lobsters in the ship's kitchen. Going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than standing in a garage makes you a car. Before I criticize a man, I like to walk a mile in his shoes. That way, when I do criticize him, I'm a mile away and I have his shoes.
Doesn't expecting the unexpected make the unexpected become the expected?
My therapist says I have a preoccupation with vengeance. We'll see about that. When my boss asked me who is the stupid one, me or him, I told him everyone knows he doesn't hire stupid people.
I want to die peacefully in my sleep, like my grandfather. Not screaming and yelling like the passengers in his car.
So, you see, a lot can be done with these functions. However, there are more things to be done with these functions. Like moving over here. It's up to your imagination.
So that's it for the functions. There's some other functions in here as well, as far as setting resolutions, setting your maximum, your minimum, or disappearing and showing up, or setting for the small size like this. This is the norm right here. Yep. If you can think of other functions to add here, I'd be happy to do that. And let me know if you think. If anybody wants a copy of this, just send me an email, and I'll happily give them a copy of this to play with. Thank you.